Good evening and welcome to the Invictus Racing League. This is the top tier of the Invictus Racing League Tier 1 for their 9th round at Miami. And it's going to be a belter, I'm sure. Miami, a difficult little circuit to do, but can produce some good overtaking opportunities and some good racing. My name is JPH, and joining me shortly will be Bruce, like normal. He's just running a few minutes behind, but good evening to everyone who is watching tonight. Good evening to the ARL, good to see you back for more Tier 1 action. So the key for ARL is to get out of the pits first and be the first one on track. But Miami, 5.4 kilometers long. It's got 19 corners, and quite a lot. Two very long DRS zones here at Miami. A few people in for a few fans of Brando, Jack, and Destiny. Just going to adjust a bit of audio balance. That's an Alpine on the way out. That could be ARL, has been beaten out of the pit lane by Destiny. It's an unusual thing to have for ARL, is to be beaten out of the pit lane. So let's load up a few options on here. Not sure that's entirely true, Merc being on the intermediates. Got a few people running the mediums first time around, ARL being one of them, Volcano and Ginger Tiger. As you can see, ARL has very quickly rectified his position on track by going to the front of the pack. Be interesting to see how ARL does. I'm quite intrigued to see. I mean, ARL does this quite a lot. It goes out on the mediums first, and I know to some degree it saves a set of soft tyres, but it also starts to limit your strategy in the race, because obviously you normally have like 2 sets of mediums for the race, which can be quite useful, especially if there are safety cars during the race. You can change your strategy, have those medium compound tyres, have an extra set to kind of go against anyone who decides to stay out on like old hards or older tyres. But we'll go on board with the Alfa Romeo out of 17, 18 through 19. So here we go, a lap of Miami. Up towards turn number 1, this hairpin right DRS wide open. Brake as you hit the curb, get nicely tucked in, and then turns 2 and 3, quite crucial, because this brings you the run out towards 4. Nicely short shifted by ARL. Up towards 4, you can be down a gear, hold it in, then down another one as you flick it right through 5. 6, opens up a little bit, and then it tightens for 7. And then you flick right at 8 to go on to this sort of semi-back straight. And the DRS opening as you go through flat through 9, flat through 10. DRS wide open. And over to the right hand side as you head towards turn 11. Hit the brakes hard for this hairpin left. And this double apexed right-hander of 12 as you then go flick left into 13, and then the 14-15 chicane, really tricky, that section underneath the freeway. Turn 16 leads you on to the next of the long straights, and another great opportunity for overtaking with DRS. All the way down towards 17, and hit the brakes around about 100 meters. Bit of front locking there for ARL as he enters 17. He gets good cascade braking there. 18's flat, 19's flat. It's a lap of Miami. It's a 1 minute 29.0 from ARL. What can the others do? Here comes Destiny. He's going to come up towards the line. A 1:27.7 then is the new benchmark. You got Jack, who is reserving in the McLaren. He crossed the line at 1:27.7, just behind Destiny for now. Brando Camalengo puts it on pole position with a 1:27.0. Got JP911 in the Mercedes. Crossed the line at 28.2. Ginger Tiger, he's on the medium, so don't expect this to be an ultra fast time yet, but a 1:28.4 for him. Volcano, again, he's on the mediums. He's coming up to the line, 28.1. Joshua Bashford crossed the line, 28.2 for him. Let's see, is Mark is genuinely on a set of intermediate tyres now. I really don't understand this, but it's like he's going for like a sanctioned test day. Magat puts himself in 6th with a 28.2, so the last car to come across the line is MDJ, who goes second with a 27.7. Brando Camalengo going 7/10 quicker, Nyon, than anybody else in the field. Quite impressive that from the Alpine. The pits. It's a bolt on there next to the tyres. Bruce is joining the lobby, which is good to see. Be in the comms box very, very shortly. See here, MDJ 27.730, Brando Camalengo 27.065. That's an incredible time. There's ARL just coming for his in-lap. And the ARL does tend to do a few laps on the mediums as he tries to get to grips with the tyre. Into the turn 17 hairpin he goes. Will he stay out? No, he is going to be coming into the pits. So everyone apart from Joshua Bashford, who stayed out. Trying to work out if this is a secondary flying lap, although he heads into turn 7 and 8. Still using ERS, so I suggest this is a flying lap attempt. But whilst we're watching Joshua Bashford, good evening, Bruce. How are you?
Yeah, good evening, JP. Good evening, everyone. Apologies for the latest few technical issues with the latest update, which is probably not a surprise to most people.
Yeah, it's interesting that we're getting an update this late in the game's life cycle, especially with the F1 24 on the brink of release this month. But I wonder what they've added or taken away.
Well, hopefully it won't take away from any great racing tonight anyway, but yeah, it seems it's a smaller grid tonight, as Bashi's coming up towards the end of his lap here. Smaller grid, but it does mean everyone gets points if they can finish the race.
Yep, absolutely. As Bashford comes across the line. 1:27.8. So far though, Brando Camalengo, the pole man, 1:27.0. It's a phenomenally quick time.
Yeah, it's very quick out the blocks from Brando, as you say, and yeah, some making up to do from some of the guys before. Obviously, I think it was Volcano and Merc have not set representative times on the softer tyre, from what I can remember. But it looks like everyone's out on the softs now, so yeah, we should get a better idea as to how competitive that time is from Brando.
Yeah, it's as the session wears on, obviously track gets rubbered in, get a bit of evolution into the circuit. As Louis almost loses the back end through 1 and into 2, and that's immediately withdrawing from that lap, because the problem is you lose it through into 2, and you carry that all the way down towards 4.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is a tricky section to get right. It's a very, very low grip section. You know, it's one of those you always want to get on the throttle as quickly as you possibly can, but that's when it catches people out. As Jack has a slight wobble now through the end of the S's as well, coming onto the back DRS straight. I believe Jack is the first car on his next set of flying laps now. I didn't quite see actually then where he was. He's about 3 tenths up currently on his best time after sector 1. So yeah, he's looking to improve somewhat and narrow that gap down to Brando.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be the key. I mean, if you took Brando Camalengo out, you've got a very, very tight top 3 so far.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a bit of traffic here now. He's just coming up behind what I think is a Mercedes. Getting a little bit of draft, but not really far enough down the straight to make massive use of the draft of the car in front. So yeah, coming down to the last corner now, easy to miss your braking here as well and go deep, but sometimes not the end of the world if you do get it slightly wrong. But that's good there from Jack. Hits the apex quite nicely, runs out wide. I think this is going to be an improvement.
Up to the line then for Jack in the McLaren. It's a 1:27.599. Ginger Tiger behind us on a lap as well. He's going 6 tenths faster than he was. That's going to be into 27. So 27.718 puts him into 3rd. We always know Ginger has good pace available to him. And Louis is out. That is at turn 2. I'm going to suggest he's had a similar incident out of 1, where he's just lost the back end a little bit and it's snapped on him.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look identical, doesn't it? To where, as you say, he had that snap on the lap earlier. Obviously, Louis not quite within the 107% time rule there, but I think we'll let him race anyway. But yeah, I noticed Destiny was pretty close on his first sector, but he's invalidated his lap as well. So yeah, it looks like he's recharging now to have another go, as Volcano up to 2nd.
Yeah, Volcano 27.4 ARL up to 9th with a 28.0. We've got one of the Mercs coming round. It is Merc himself. Now, his first lap time was on a set of intermediate tyres and a 26.986. That becomes the new provisional pole.
Yeah, very, very close there, but a good job from Merc to overtake Brando, as Brando returns the favour and goes back to pole position.
And the J puts in a 27.516. He's into 4th place for now. Shame we don't have any Reshka tonight, which is a bit of a shame, because I felt like this is a circuit Reshka would probably do quite well on.
Yeah, I believe he has mentioned it's maybe not his favourite circuit, but yeah, he's been in a fine run of form recently, Reshka, to be fair to him, and yeah, it'd have been good to see it continue tonight. But yeah, as I say, slightly smaller grid, which is a shame. There's quite a few people away this week, which is unfortunate. I was very quick into the pits there from Maggot, but I think he's just got away with that. But yeah, Brando looking like he's got the pace tonight to take it to Merc.
Absolutely. Good evening to Scotty and Eli in the chat. Scotty saying Louis win or riot. Well, he's gonna if he does win, it's going to be one hell of a win from 12th on the grid. But
yeah, I think we might have to get the SWAT on standby at the moment, potentially. But
I mean, stranger things have happened in races, so you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes it's a case of being in the right place at the right time. But yeah, from 12th on the grid, he's definitely made it harder on himself to try and appease Scotty there. But as you say, you never know. Racing's a funny thing, and it's never over till it's over, is it?
Worked into the pits. I'm going to suggest Brando's coming in as well. So we'll display pictures of ARL in his Alfa Romeo. He's on his third lap on those tyres. I think he went for a flyer, a recharge, and another flyer. Which is an interesting strategy with such little time to go. And you can see he's pretty much running out of ERS. So it wouldn't surprise me if he decides to come in this lap and bolt a new set of softs on.
Yeah, he is actually a 10th up at the first sector, but as you say, with the ERS running out, I think that's probably going to quickly dissipate. Well, he's still a 10th up actually at the second sector, so who knows? It'd be interesting to see what he does here, because obviously he could probably do with getting a new set of tyres and having another go, but then is he thinking maybe he'll just save a set of softs for the race in case they're needed? So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he does.
Or on a big slide.
In the pits.
Yeah, I think that's because he lit the rears up coming on the exit of 17 there. I think had he got a good exit out of the hairpin, he'd have probably finished that lap, but as it wasn't to be for ARL. But and I must admit, he pretty much already saved soft tyres because his first run was on a set of mediums.
So yeah, plenty of softs then for ARL then going into the race. I believe the first car out for it's going to be on his flying lap is Jack. So yeah, he'll be looking to improve from that 5th place, but still that's a good performance so far from the McLaren driver. Not too far behind his teammate.
Yeah, Jack reserving in the McLaren camp for tonight, as is JP for Mercedes. We'll go on board with Jack as we head across the line up towards turn number 1. We've got a yellow flag. I think that's just for Bash being a bit slow on his own lap, but through 1 into 2. A little less short shifty than ARL was. It all depends on your setup of the car. You head down towards 4, just flick it in, down to 6th, down to 5th on the soft compound, to 7 and 8. Horrible little tightening left-hander after such a long open corner. Can really catch you out, especially in the race. It'd be interesting to see what happens through there, but onto this curved straight, shall we call it? Turns 9 and 10 and down towards 11. Nails the brakes, hits the apex nicely, it opens up the corner and allows you a really nice entry into 12. Short shift at the 4th through 13, 14, 15. Possibly a little bit too much curb on the right hand part of the chicane, but he'll get away with it. Through 16 onto the back straight. DRS will be open now. And let's just pick your braking point. Such a hard braking point to pick underneath the trees. 100 meters, there it is. Clip the apex, run it as wide as you can to open up the steering, to not have the rear end do that. That cost him a little bit of time, but not too much. It's a 27.1 for Jack, 3rd place for now.
Yeah, good stuff from Jack there. I think JP's next to finish. He's currently 3/4 of a second up on his best time, so he's looking around about the sort of 5th place area at the moment based on his previous time. Just as he rounds the final corner now. And 4th place for JP.
Impressive stuff then from JP911. Who's going to be next on a lap? Ginger Tiger's on one at the moment. This is Bashford and Maggot. I think Bashford will be the next one to complete a flying lap. To say that, he's slowed right down.
Going slow, yeah. So I think could be Maggot. I think is going to be the next one, followed by Ginger Tiger.
So Maggot into turn 17. Final couple of corners for the Red Bull. What can he produce? Say 1 minute 27.457 puts him 6th on the grid for now. Ginger Tiger, he's slightly down after the second split, but can have a bit of time left him in the final one. He does have a little bit of time, but not enough to warrant a position change.
Absolutely. So Jack across the line, 3rd place. I think that's where he was before, isn't it? I think so.
Yeah, I think he just effectively completed like his in lap, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's good job from Jack so far. But obviously we've got the likes of Merc. Merc is currently 0.2 of a second up on his previous best.
Your Destiny is nearly half a second, 0.46 up on his personal best. Put him around about fourth area at the moment. A lot of curb taken in that turn 17 hairpin. Up to the line he comes. It's going to be a 27.3, fourth place for now. Merckx. What can he do? He puts in a 26.577. Where's Brando? Brando is down after the second split, and there's a lot of time to find in what is effectively just a hairpin and a couple of flat corners. 27.159 does not improve. Merckx is looking pretty good for pole position here, unless MDJ's got something in the bag, and he does not.
And I think Bashi is the last one to complete now. Up to 6th place for the Haas driver, so good job there from him at the end as well. And I believe that is qualifying done with Maggot currently showing 17 seconds down, so I think he's on an in-lap anyway. So.
Yeah, so Merckx has once again claimed a pole position by about 2.5 tenths, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot of time to try and find it. You know, it is often in Formula One. It's often the small amounts of time that's the hardest to find.
Yeah, that was a pretty special lap there for Merck, to be honest. He did the job in the first 2 sectors, really. I think he pulled a little bit in the last as well. But yeah, you know, I think Brando and Volcano are going to be there. They're not going to be too far away from him, to be honest. So, yeah, this is an interesting race.
It's only 29 laps of Miami to come for the Grand Prix. Bruce, you'd like to take us through the grid order for the Miami Grand Prix?
Absolutely. So yeah, Merckx and the Mercedes on pole position, with Brando Camalango and the Alpine sharing the front row with him. Volcano and Jack both in McLaren's 3rd and 4th, with Destiny 5th and Bashi 6th. JP and Maggot 7th and 8th, with MDJ 9th, Ginger Tiger 10th, ARL 11th, and Louis unfortunately 12th after a crash early on in qualifying.
Hopefully he'll be able to keep the back end in check through the race, because as we said before, as long as they finish, they get points, top 12 score points. So as long as you finish, you'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one you don't really want to give up on if it's all going a bit wrong. You know, you just keep persevering, and you never know. You know, a couple of retirements from other people, and you know suddenly you're getting some decent points after that as well. So yeah, I think perseverance is probably key tonight. And you know, okay, there's only 12 guys out there, but I'm pretty sure the racing's going to be as frantic as it normally is towards the front end.
So the ARL saying pathetic from him, but it's a weird one, Miami, because it catches the best drivers out, and it's one of those tracks that either goes really well or really badly. There's no sort of in between with it because of the lack of margin for error.
Yeah, definitely, and there's certain corners which are a bit more notorious than others. Obviously, as you said at the start of the lap in the first sector through the S's, easy to make a mistake through there. But also, I tend to find round by the Nasri chicane at the back end of the circuit, it's very easy, especially the last 90 left. It's very easy to just get understeer through that corner, and if you don't notice it quick enough, you can very easily collide with the wall on the exit. So yeah, it's a strange one, this circuit. It's very difficult, I find, to get a flow, because it's such a varying circuit all the way around, a different sort of styles to it as you go around the lap. So yeah, it would be interesting to see how these guys adapt to this, especially after last week's sort of fairly straightforward race meeting at Monza.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that Miami's obviously notorious for is safety cars. Obviously, we're hoping that with obviously the lesser amount of drives on circuit tonight, that we don't need a safety car. But it is very much that there is the potential there, and it is a high potential for the safety car around here.
Yeah, definitely. We had one in Tier 3. There was one last night in Tier 2. At least one last night, I think. Might be more than that. So yeah, they do come out. And, you know, they have pretty much all been, for instance, on that first sector. So yeah, it will be key, I'm sure, and be interesting to see how many people sort of adapt their strategy based on the potential of a safety car.
And I have just seen the order from Merck for everyone to ready up on the grid. So we are seconds away from the start of the Miami Grand Prix. 29 laps of racing to come. And they are on the grid, and we have the 5 red lights. We are racing in Miami. Who's got the best getaway between Merck and Brando? It looks like Merck's going to hold the lead, but Brando right alongside, down the inside, into turn 1 we go. Brando Camelengo gets the lead through 2, completes the move, and that's a great start from the Alpine driver. Volcano third, Jack fourth. We got Ginger Tiger has had an instant at the back, but he is still going, which is the main thing. Bashford nearly getting alongside Destiny through 4 and 5. Through 6, the 2 McLarens having a look at each other. Remember, Jack's technically not a McLaren driver. He is a reserve for tonight, so no team orders in play there. And, Destiny, some weird little lines coming up towards 9 and 10. It's allowed Bashford to get alongside. MDJ's gone past JP behind, and he's looking to go down the inside, 3 wide, down towards turn 11. MDJ is making places up for fun, and we're almost 3 wide through 12. Joshua Bashford staying in 6th for now, with Destiny behind in 7th. JP in 8th. I think it's just hit the wall. Maggot's been given a 5-second time penalty for, I believe, corner cutting, and Louis has been given 3 seconds for, well, as far as I can tell, avoiding action. And Maggot's actually lost his front wing in all of that, so he's going to have to come in and he'll serve that 5 seconds, I think. And he'll have to get a new front wing, although I'm not quite sure, because I think corner cutting, you don't normally serve it in the pits. But it is Brando Camelengo who has a 1.7 second lead over Mert.
Yeah, I believe you're right. I think it is. I don't think you can serve a corner cutting penalty in the pits. There's a 5-second penalty for Maggot as well coming in the pit. So frustration getting the better of him a little bit, perhaps. Yeah, there was a little bit of contact at the start of the lap with Maggot was involved in it. It was just a bit of side by side, and I don't know if the checking up of that then caused Ginger Tiger to have a bit of a moment behind them. But then obviously as we come to the end of the lap, JP's gone round at the chicane as well. So yeah, disastrous start for these guys towards the back end. But yeah, Brando is making use of those soft tyres at the front.
Yeah, I was just about to say, coming to the tyres, it's no wonder why Brando's 2 seconds clear, and Volcano's all over the back of Merck going into turn 11. Brando the only one on softs. Volcano and Jack both on mediums. I don't know what Maggot started on, but he's gone to a set of mediums next. If he's gone hard, he'll be able to go medium, and just have nice faster tyres to the end.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the strategies, how they've all gone for different tyres. Obviously, Brando's trying to get away quick here at the start, and Gap Merck, there's a couple of people on mediums at the start as well, but majoritively a lot of hard runners. I wonder if this is due to the fact it's a smaller grid, so they've gone hard tyres thinking there's a very small chance of a safety car. But as we've seen already, as Brando sets another fastest lap, as we've seen already, you know, that it may be a smaller grid, but we've had 2 cars pretty much in the wall already. It can happen at any moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we know there's such a small margin for error. You know, it's you know, you make one mistake, you're in the wall, and safety cars can be caused very easily. And we know with this game, it can be caused by simply some debris being on the road. But the 2 McLarens are, I mean, Jack's practically pushing Volcano now, as Volcano's starting to lose a little bit of time, so that says to me that Merck's now gradually getting those hard tyres up to temperature. And he's starting to find a bit of pace, but here comes Volcano, DRS open, inside of turn 11, and it looks to me like Merck, well, I was going to say Merck isn't really fighting this, allowing it the inside, but he stays around the outside, keeps momentum, and holds that position. But they are all losing time to Brando. The more, if they fight more and more, the better chance Brando's got of getting away here.
Absolutely. It did look like Volcano maybe backed out the move, maybe thinking ahead to this DRS zone now, where obviously he's got more chance of getting past Merck here, although I think he's a bit too far back, but he's going to go for it, I think. And yeah, I think he sat behind him again, so Yeah, playing the long game here, Volcano, at the moment, I think. But yeah, the problem with overtaking on the first DRS is it leaves you susceptible then at the second DRS. So yeah, it's interesting to see what they're doing here. But yeah, Brando's going to be loving this if he sees them all start swapping places.
Yeah, Volcano couldn't even quite get marked in that DRS at the start of the lap either. So he's going to sit behind him through the S's once again. And it's probably one of the worst set of corners on the track to be caught behind someone, because obviously, whilst these are ground effect cars, obviously there is still a small amount of dirty air. That can cause a little bit of understeer. And it just looks like Volcano's weak through that SS section as well. It's almost like he's running slightly lower wings, which is kind of costing him a little bit through that section where a bit of downforce is required. As here comes MDJ to the outside of Jack, who's already running out of ERS. So Jack burning through a lot of ERS for no reward.
Yeah, it's a strange one as well, because he's in that DRS and he doesn't really need to burn it either. You can probably stick behind the guys in front just using the DRS alone. But yeah, MDJ is on an absolute mission. He's got some incredible pace here at the moment in this Williams. And yeah, it looks like Volcano may have dropped out of DRS though.
Let's have a look. Yes, he has. No DRS for the McLaren. And MDJ surely going to have a look for a move. No, he thinks better of it for now. I mean, Volcano is back within DRS for this DRS zone along the main straight. But yeah, I mean, something in MDJ suddenly just like woken up and just gone, here I am. And he's driving with a little bit of, we say anger, but it's not angry driving, if you know what I mean. It's just very, very fast, as Bashford has got past Jack.
And Bash is out.
I'm not quite sure what happened there, but I'm going to guess something happened with Jack.
Yeah, Jack's missing a front wing. He was, yeah, I completely missed what happened there as well, obviously. But Bashy had literally just got past Jack going down to the last corner, and then they've obviously come out of turn 1 and 2, and we've got a safety car now. Unsurprisingly, you know, that car was in the middle of the road. But yeah, I wonder whether or not they've tried going side by side, and maybe one of them's had a little snap. And unfortunately, when you're running side by side through that set of corners, it doesn't take much for it to all go horribly wrong. And unfortunately for Bashi, it's done just that.
I mean, unfortunately, the cameras from I've just had a little look back on the stream, almost like a replay effect. And the cameras don't help us at all in terms of what happened. But it looked like almost Jack tried to go down the inside of 3. Possibly quite late and maybe not quite far enough alongside Bashford to really be there, but obviously we can't really determine that, and I'm almost certain that there's going to be a bit of a steward's inquiry in this, and this is not playing into the hands of ARL here, because obviously Jack is having to go so slow. I mean, he's having to go so slow through the corners that it's kind of holding everyone up behind now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everyone's on a delta, and unsurprisingly, Brando comes in the pits. I think it's too early for Merc to come in the pits. MDJ is going to come in the pits, so maybe you're here for MDJ thinking they'll go a medium to the end of the race potentially, or maybe even a medium soft, but it's going to be too far to go. In theory, it's going to be too far to go, although we did see some people on Wednesday night, yourself included, JVH, drive for a very long time on these medium tyres.
Yeah, I mean, that was from about lap 9. I think we've done about 20 racing laps, I think, roughly speaking, on them. Also, we had a couple of laps behind the safety car to help, but yeah, it's definitely doable. Obviously, they're just not very nice at the end, as we came to find out. But if you can make it work, then it'll be good. But I mean, it's not a bad strategy this from Brando or MDJ, because they're now on this. I mean, Brando's still on the softer compound compared to Merc. We know Merc has to pit, as does Volcano, Louis, Ginger Tiger. So in reality, all they've lost is a little bit of track position, but they should be quicker on those fresher tyres that are softer.
Yeah, definitely, as you say, they'll be massively quicker, and I guess it leaves their options far more open now to what they can do from here on in the race. Jack's obviously gone to soft tyres now from what I believe was mediums at the start for him, wasn't it? The two McLaren started on mediums, so yeah, obviously Jack's going to have to do a two-stop. Why? I personally would have gone to the hards and tried to drag it out, but yeah, interesting choice from the McLaren driver to see exactly what he does from here with this strategy.
I wonder if Czech's maybe thinking if I put on the soft compound, I can blitz my way through the field, get the positions up first, knowing that almost everyone may have to pit again anyway towards the end of this race, because I think whilst the mediums will probably last to the end of this race, obviously it depends when that safety car comes in, and Ginger Tiger, thinking along those wavelengths, I think, and probably coming in for a set of medium tyres, I would have thought. This will be his second pit stop of the day.
Yeah, is this a case? Is Ginger Tiger listening to the stream and he's now heard that people have managed to get to the end on mediums, and he's taken advantage of it.
I say his second stop is actually his first.
Yeah, it is his first stop, isn't it? Yeah, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see exactly again whether Ginger Tiger fancies another stop now after this, or just getting to the end. But yeah, this has mixed up everyone's races somewhat. I mean, you know, everyone was on not a similar strategy, but everyone on a strategy to the point where they kind of all converged towards the end, I think. But now this could go either way. You know, we saw this with the guys. Jack on Monday night, he took the mediums all the way to the end and ended up 7 seconds up the road. There was big gaps really throughout the field because of the early safety car. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether this plays out and it all sort of converges towards the end, or whether or not it sort of spreads out as the strategies play out.
That is always one of the risks, was when safety cars come into play and these different strategies come to light. However, I think around Miami, hopefully, as we kind of saw on Monday, the differing strategies will hopefully come together by the end of the race and create a little bit of action, regardless of what happens. But you have to feel here that Brando probably in the best position if he can get past Volcano early and kind of like sit on the back of Merckx and maybe get past him reasonably quickly after that, as the safety car, nice early call to allow Merckx to back the field up, will be coming in at the end of the lap.
Yeah, I mean, he is in a very good position, and as I say, you know, he has that option potentially, if he can get ahead of Merckx, that he can make another stop again if he feels it, that, you know, he needs the tyres to be a bit fresher again towards the end, and obviously he'll still have the track position. So yeah, if Brando can get past the guys in front, then he could well be on for a race win.
And Merckx is gone, and just as he goes past the crest after turn 17, is a good getaway, 4/10 to the good against Volcano, nearly half a second. Volcano using a little bit of ERS, you have to feel there, as MDJ screams past Louis, obviously Louis on those old hard tyres, and Brando Camalengo trying to waste no time in dispatching the McLaren. He's down the inside through 3 up towards 4, he's on the outside. Volcano backs out of that move. He knows that in reality Brando's not his fight here at the moment. He's on a completely different strategy.
Yeah, definitely, it's got to be smart. Just following Jack, Ginger Tiger has left the session, unfortunately, for the Aston Martin driver. Jack just had a random bit of lag and then suddenly catapulted ahead of ARL, so I don't quite know exactly what happened there.
We've got nearly 3 wide. ARL has now disconnected, so a couple of issues in terms of some connections. Bruce, I don't know whether you want to see if you can get any of them back in. Hopefully an easy thing. Obviously both on PlayStation, so hopefully they'll be maybe on your play together or something of that nature. But meanwhile, Brando Camalengo, he's going to go for a move for the lead. Up towards turn 17, Merckx. So only led laps behind the safety car, and he's still only going to have led laps behind the safety car as Brando gets through into the lead of this race, and now he wants to try and skip town. DJ also up into third. So these new medium tyres, as Destiny comes from a long way back to go past Volcano into turn 1. ARL has rejoined, which is good to see. Hopefully they won't have lost too much time. The two McLarens now very close to each other, heading through 4, 5, 6. Fighting that one. And Volcano going back in a hurry on those 8-lap-old medium tyres. Now MDJ for second place. There he goes, and now he's on the back of Brando Camerlengo, and we could have a real fight on our hands. The two McLarens are swapping places for 5th. Yeah, Ginger Tiger has rejoined, which is good to see. And it's quite, to some degree, it's not the ideal thing for ARL and Ginger, but they are quite lucky. In fact, they haven't lost too much time. Now Jack has disconnected. Unfortunately, we can't really do a lot about Jack because he's on the PC. Although his AI has gone past Destiny as Volcano has gone down the inside of the Alpine. DRS has been enabled. Volcano unable to get past Destiny for now as we head towards turn 1. And I must admit, that ghost is going quite well for Jack, but see how that pays off as the stint goes on.
Yeah, he's going at some pace, isn't he, at the moment, the ghost of Jack? But yeah, absolutely key here at the front for Brando and MDJ to get past Merck. That leaves them in the position now where they know that Merck has to pit again, which is obviously going to drop him. I'm not sure what the overall pit time is here, maybe around 20 seconds perhaps. I don't know if you know for sure, but that would then give Merck, he would then have to try and catch that time up if they decide to stay out. So yeah, this could be very, very interesting to see exactly what they choose to do. I get the feeling if Brando, for example, came into pit, then MDJ would probably try to stick it out just to be a bit different and see if he can just sort of stick it out to the end or not. But yeah, it's as I say, absolutely key that they got past the Mercedes driver, and yeah, we'll be interested to see what Merck can do in response.
JP on the move up as he goes into 8th place past Maggot. Louis getting past the stricken Jack bot.
So yeah, as you say, ARL and Ginger Tiger, obviously, Jack's managed to get back in, so that's good for him.
Louis was a bit sideways out of turn 17 there. Lucky not to clip the wall, but it's lost him a little bit of time. Sorry, Bruce, you were saying?
Yeah, no, ARL and Ginger Tiger, obviously, with the disconnect's a bit of a nightmare, but actually they've not really lost too much time, as ARL up the inside of Maggot can't quite make it stick. Trying to find a way around him now for this first section of corners, but it's very, very difficult. But he's having a look. Can he go around the outside here? Into
4 around the outside. Finishes off in 5, but Maggot now looking to switch back himself, but can't quite do it. He hasn't got the grip on those old mediums. And now Ginger Tiger is looking quite handy behind him to get back up into the top 10.
MDJ past Brando for the lead. Pretty straightforward DRS overtake there for the Williams driver on the Alpine. And a slight tap on the back of MDJ from Brando, and he holds it well. And they carry on, but this is just going to allow Merck to catch up a little bit, and he's now almost within DRS of the two in front. And if Merck can get that DRS, even with the hard tyres, it'll be good for him. He'll be able to stick with them a lot better, but he has dipped outside of it again now.
Yeah, the detection point for this back straight just after the 90 left out of that complex. And you almost feel that MDJ and Brando need to sign themselves a treaty apiece for the majority of this race. Work together, use that DRS, leapfrog each other, just get Merckx out of the picture.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw there was a bit of racing last night in Tier 2 where a couple of guys were going at it tooth and nail, but they were on different strategies to the guys around them, and ultimately it did cost them quite a lot of time. I mean, they got saved by a safety car in the end, but yeah, trying to work together is possibly the best course of action for these two. But it is kind of difficult because you do tend to catch the car in front, as MDJ runs a little bit wide there. But it is difficult because the DRS zones, they kind of work in the fact that you do tend to catch the car in front just as you're hitting the braking zone, because it can get awkward. But yeah, Merckx is like 2 seconds behind the two guys in front anyway, so they are starting to gap the Mercedes.
Jack re-overtakes He should be overtaking Volcano, but he's run out of ERS, and he's going to have to use the DRS as JP continues to make moves up the field into 7th. The two McLaren side by side through 11th. ARL also gets past the Ferrari. That's for 8th place. Ginger Tiger the next on the Ferrari's hit list because obviously Louis on those old hard tyres. And it's the only problem with starting on the hards is a really, really good idea until you get that early safety car. And if you don't, I mean, you kind of feel that if you don't come in the pits off your hard tyres, you're a bit of a sitting duck, as we've seen so far.
Ooh, contact there, I think. Contact. ARL and JP. JP massively sideways through the last corner, a very Colin McRae rally style, but holds it well. But ARL now gets the job done into turn 1 through the DRS zone. And that was Ginger Tiger nearly into the back of JP as well, I think, there. So it's all getting a little bit frantic towards the tail end of the field at the moment.
Ginger Tiger making a move on Louis for 9th place. But it's amazing how quickly these drivers are burning through ERS. You could just see Ginger Tiger's car there was flashing momentarily, so a lot of electrical energy being used whilst these guys have their mini battles, and ARL is slowly closing in as I think we've got a change of the lead once again. It's Brando back in the lead from MDJ, using that DRS to good effect, but it wasn't quite as smooth as probably they would have wanted that to be.
No, it was very, very close, but they managed to do it. They dropped a few attempts to Mert there, but they were starting to gap him quite heavily there on that last lap anyway. So Mert is starting to struggle. It'll be interesting to see now if Destiny will start to catch the Mercedes as well, with him on the similar tyres to MVJ and Brando, who have all once again swapped places.
This is incredible. I mean, that gap from Mert went from 2.5 seconds to 2.9. when MDJ overtook Brando, and it looks like Brando's had a little bit of a bad exit out of 17, maybe a touch of wheel spin. I mean, the other thing as well for Mert is how much energy is he going to be using to try and keep up with these guys. It's kind of position you don't see Mert normally in, where you have to feel that he's going to be using a lot of ERS just to kind of keep up with these guys and give himself a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's a concern possibly for Mert. I say he's not used to really having to chase down. I mean, he's on a different strategy now, so whether he'll be thinking he just needs to just not worry about those two for now, come and get those medium tyres on, within the next probably I should imagine sort of 2 or 3 laps potentially, and then just try and chase him down to the end of the race. But he's going to have some traffic to get through. I think all the guys here that are on currently 8-lap old mediums, which is Destiny, ARL, JP, Ginger Tiger, I don't think you're going to see them pit again now till very, very late in the race, if at all. Yeah,
it's certainly a factor that has to be taken into account for Mert. Because we're on board with Volcano with this little group battle of his little quartet. We're going to go back to the front because it looks like Brando's getting close, but not quite close enough to MDJ. So we'll go back to this fight for 6th, because the tail end of this field is creating a lot of action between each other, and it is great to see fighting all the way down the field.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if something happened to Maggot a short while back, but he's dropped off the back. But touching on the ERS usage, I wonder if this is why some of the guys towards the back have got a lot less ERS. Is the concern that if they drop off the back of that DRS train, they're just going to be left for dead then, basically, at the back. So, which I think is kind of almost what's happening to Maggot here. He's struggling to keep up with the guys in front, just purely because he doesn't have the DRS of anyone in front of him anymore. And I think potentially, as Louis is also now off the back of that DRS train as well, it's just that concern that once you're off the back of it, it kind of really hampers your race. So you're better off burning it just to stay within that 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a potential idea. Is now Volcano running out of ERS, but he's got the DRS. He's going to go sailing past ARL, and here comes JP to the outside. Turn 11, a little bit of contact on the entry, but ARL will keep that place, and I just get the feeling JP maybe a little bit too enthusiastic for going for the apex. at turn 11. Luckily, it looks like no damage sustained by either driver.
Yeah, it was very much wheel on wheel, wasn't it? So I think they got away with that one. But yeah, it did look like JP maybe just turned a little bit too keenly there, shall we say, and yeah, made contact with ARL. But yeah, stayed behind him, so I don't think we'll hear too much more about that one, and I'll just crack on with it. But yeah, Volcano, and it's a hell of a train we've got at the back here. And as Destiny comes in the pits, he's only on 9-lap old medium, so is he now going? I'm not sure what Destiny started on, to be honest. I can't really remember, but he is now going on to soft tyres, I assume, to do the remainder of the race, which is ambitious, but doable.
Yeah, I wonder, as ARL was poking his nose around Volcano there through 4, or I say through 3, sorry. Yeah, I wonder if Destiny now looking for one very large undercut. Maybe he's seen what Jack is doing at the moment, because obviously Jack on 10-lap old soft tyres doesn't right now. So I wonder if Destiny's seen that from Jack and just gone, I reckon with the lesser fuel we can get a few more, we can get maybe an extra lap or two compared to what Jack's going to get. Going to the end of the race as JP sends it down the inside of both Volcano and ARL, gets it very sideways, allowing ARL back through. You get the feeling that was one of those, I've outbraked myself and I've got nowhere else to go, but just absolutely sent down the inside to not take anyone out.
Yeah, you nearly went for the fire break there. I think JP, you backed that one right in. So yeah, interesting attempt at overtake. No real contact made as such. So yeah, it was okay as Destiny picks up a 3-second penalty. That's not going to help him in his battle, but he just let JP's let Volcano back through. So maybe he felt a little bit guilty about that move, perhaps. As ultimately that kind of cost Volcano bases, but he's let Volcano through, and then Volcano's coming to the pits anyway, as does Merc.
So Merc to the pits, new set of medium tyres. What does MDJ and Brando do? I mean, surely if you're those two, you're tempted to just come in the pits, get some fresh tyres, because I mean, Merc's come out in 7th at the moment, but with the grip difference, Merc is going to make pretty short work of those ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Destiny's come back in the pits for a front wing, so he's got a 3-second penalty and damaged his front wing as well. So I wonder if he's had a bit of a spin maybe at the chicane. I didn't see exactly what happened, but you know, he's damaged his front wing, got to replace it, and that's absolutely destroyed any plans he had of getting up through the field.
Brando returning to the lead of this race. It's going to be interesting to see what these two do. Let's have a look. What is the gap to Merc? 19.9 seconds, 12 laps remaining. As MDJ goes back past the Williams, back past the Alpine, sorry. It'd be interesting to see. And so Brando Camalengo is coming into the pits to cover off Merc. MDJ's decided he's going to stay out for another lap at the very least. But Merc has already taken about 6/10 out of that lead to MDJ now. In this
hard
lap.
tyres going on to Brando.
Maybe he didn't have a fresh another.
And the yellow flag. That's Destiny again at the tight chicane. He's had another moment there. Looks like his front wing is intact this time, but yeah, a bit of a surprise that Brando's gone for the hard tyres, to be honest, but he has come out in front of Merc.
I mean, that means he's gone for a hard tyre balance. Because I'm pretty certain he started on hards, did he not? Oh no, he started on soft, didn't
he? Yeah, he started on soft, Brando, indeed, yeah, so I'm very surprised. I believe you get 2 sets of mediums, don't you, normally, for the race, as Merc
unless he
here
used
makes
them
the
in
overtake.
qualifying.
Yeah, quite possibly. So yeah, a bit of a confusing one, that. So now it's interesting to see, does MDJ come in the pits, you know, maybe for a set of soft tyres here to go to the end, which undoubtedly I think would probably be the best tyre to go on right now.
Volcano gets past ARL. See everyone, and this is the nice thing now for MDJ, is in reality the only person he'd have to really overtake is Ginger Tiger, although Merc is ripping time out of MDJ's lead, and MDJ comes in. I reckon this is just a lap too late for MDJ, because Merck's taken a lot of time. I mean, all by the shouting of it, nearly 3 seconds this lap. As Ginger Tiger's going to come into the pits.
Another set of mediums.
Merck's a 30.0, and you get the sense that MDJ, he's just coming out a little bit too late. He's going to be outside of the DRS potentially, and it may not be the best thing for him.
Yeah, interesting. Ginger Tiger in the pits puts on a set of softs now to see how far he can get up the field. A long way, well, not a long way back, waiting for an update. So yeah, he's not too far behind actually. The guys in front. So actually, you could see a bit of a fight back here through the field from Ginger Tiger.
Yeah, 2.4 seconds to Louis, who's sat behind the Merc of JP, who's flirting with the DRS. In front, Brando does not make the move into turn 11. Yeah, JP was flirting with that DRS second gap, but just about got inside it for against IRL. And 12, and JP is under a little bit of threat here from Louis, who, to be fair, considering he started 12th in this race, and I know he's got a penalty to have, which I think could potentially be removed, because I'm pretty certain he got that as a straight penalty for effectively avoiding JP from spinning when he spun in the chicane. But here comes the Ferrari to the inside as Destiny picks up another 3 seconds through the chicane by the looks of it, and Louis up into 7th place for now.
Yeah, Destiny's race has kind of unravelled, hasn't it, really, within the last sort of 4 or 5 laps. Now 6 seconds worth of penalties, as you say. Louis did get the straight penalty, didn't he? So yeah, look, it says 6 seconds on his on the timing screen. There was not one of them for 5 seconds. Or was that someone else?
No, that was from Maggots, wasn't it?
Okay, so Maggots managed to serve that penalty in that case. So yeah, okay, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether Louis can get that penalty scrubbed off or not. But yeah, we'll see in the stewards towards the end of the week.
Now, what's getting interesting is look at the gap for MDJ to Brando. It's 1.2 seconds. That was around 2 seconds plus just a couple of laps ago. Is JP to the inside of Louis. That's the 7th. And I think that battle is going to rage on because they are now way outside of DRS from ARL. So they're going to play a little bit of DRS leapfrog. And Ginger Tiger, even though he's on that soft compound, is feeling the effects of not being in DRS as the two leaders side by side through turn 17. Brando on the inside. He's going to get good traction, as is Merckx. This is exactly what MDJ needs to catch him up, but Brando's running out of ERS. Down the main straight we go. None of them have DRS at all. They must have been dead heat on the line. And Merckx is just about going to fend off the Alpine for now, as we head through the first section of S's before heading down towards turns 4, 5 and 6.
Yeah, MVJ has been absolutely pushing like a madman. He's been monstering the curbs and all sorts, trying to catch the guys in front. And this will be exactly what he wants to see, the two of them fighting with each other. You know, it's not crazy fighting, but it's enough for them to back themselves up into the path of MDJ. And yeah, this is looking good now for the Williams driver. And yeah, it's looking like a 3-horse race at the end of this race.
Here comes Brando Camalengo to the inside of Merckx at turn 11. Once again, Merckx will hang it around the outside. He'll keep the inside for 12, but they're still going to be side by side. Can he keep it there for 13? No, he can't. He slots back in just as they head into the chicane. And now MDJ is right on the tail of the Alpine. But the biggest question here is if we're thinking this trio is going to stay together like this for the rest of the race, which I think there's every chance of it being, what position do you want to be on coming down this back straight for the last lap? Because I don't think you want to be in the lead.
I think a lot. It's going to be very dependent on what ERS you have left. I think as Merck tries to stick around the outside, but yeah, excellent driving from Brando. They're really good defensive driving on the exit of the corner, which means and defensive straight away. But here comes MDJ up the middle.
3 wide, down into turn 1, and MDJ makes a double overtake. Can he make it stick? Merck's still down his inside, but Merck has to back out as the room just isn't quite there. And here comes Brando back down the inside of 3. Side by side between the Alpine and the Merck. This is what MDJ wants. He wants to escape, but Merck just about sneaks ahead of Brando going into 4. And this leading battle, I think, is going to go all the way to the end of this race. But Merck and Brando need to make sure they don't lose sight of MDJ here.
I think the DRS zones are very much going to keep them in check here. No issues, but then keep on. Here comes Merck down the inside of MDJ. It's going to be like this, I think. Unless someone makes a mistake, it's going to be like this till the end of the race. I can't see that anyone's going to be able to escape. With the tyres, the life of tyres that everyone has, everyone they're kind of on a level playing field, really. I think. Yeah,
absolutely. Actually, Brando Camerlengo, whether Brando might actually have a bit of a better chance near the end of this race, obviously he's on those hard tyres, so in essence should be less wear, but as we found out, there isn't much in terms of difference of wear between the two tyres, as here comes MDJ with the help of DRS into turn 17. Back into the lead of this race, and we all know we're about to get another dose of DRS towards turn 1. But that DRS zone they've just been through down that backstraight, that is the last one. That's important on that last lap.
Yeah, as I said, I think saving as much ERS as you possibly can for that is going to be absolutely vital for that last lap. But yeah, you unless you have an absolute ton of it, you really do not want to be in the front. Going down to that last corner, you'd just be a sitting duck, really. So yeah, this is setting up brilliantly for a fantastic finish to this race. And yeah, looking through the field, I mean, Ginger Tiger is catching Louis as well. Louis is still within DRS of JP. A little bit spread out in a couple of other places though after that. So really, it is all about this top 3 pack at the moment.
Down towards turn 11 once again. Merckx to the inside. It's a repeat performance. Here comes Brando Camerlengo down the inside. That is a late move from the Alpine, and it's not quite going to pay off. I don't think he's going to have to stick in behind. That was a bit of a risky lunge.
I'm not sure it was intentional. I feel like he was caught out by how much MDJ had to slow behind Merck due to the overtake, and I think he just found himself in a really awkward position. So I don't think there was any real sort of intentional attempt at an overtake there from Brando. But yeah, here comes MDJ again back to the front, and Merck looks down the inside. I think maybe that's just to cover off the attack from Brando, perhaps.
Yeah, this is the way MDJ is doing this right now. He's setting this up really nicely for the last lap. He's obviously playing around, learning what the DRS is going to do. But at the same time, Merck is going to be learning this, as is Brando. So obviously, one driver learns, the rest learn all at the same time, based on what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. This is it's fantastic stuff, and yeah, a slight tap there from Brando on the back of Merck. Got to be careful not to overdo it and turn the guys around in front, but yeah, I think we're about to witness potentially another overtake, although it does look like MDJ slightly further ahead this time, so he may actually still keep the lead into this sector here.
Yeah, I think that little tap from Brando on Merck just unsettled Merck enough to not have be as close as he wanted to be, although I do wonder how bad of a thing that is for Merck, because he is now the second car in the train going into the last DRS zone of the lap.
It'd be interesting to see here. I mean, Merck was just over half a second behind MDJ. It'd be interesting to see how easily he gets alongside. I don't think he's going to do it, actually. So if you can get yourself about a 6th or 7th gap, maybe, as MDJ has a slight wobble there at the final corner, yeah, if you can get yourself like a 7th gap, then I think you've got half a chance of defending from the lead of the last lap.
So through 1, 2, and 3 we go. Merck on the tail of MDJ, who's got Brando right behind him. It's Williams, Mercedes, Alpine. The McLaren Jack is 10.5 seconds away from this fight. And he's going to have ARL for company soon. I think ARL is just slowly starting to close in on that McLaren, but he's taking a little bit of time. Also, he's going to set this up for the end, for that top 4 place.
Yeah, it is starting to close up a little bit here for 4th place between the two drivers, as you say, as Damien Suck is murked on MDJ.
Yeah, and MDJ, it took him a few attempts to be able to get the front end turned back in because of Merck's car being in the way. Although Merck is slow through the chicane, he didn't get the line right at all, took way too much curve through the right. And you get the sense that MDJ is about to re-overtake the Mercedes.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Brando down the inside here as well. I think it wasn't a great run through that chicane from Merck, so I think you're going to see the Alpine go for it there. He's backed out of it.
Just a little bit too far behind is Brando.
JP now catching Volcano as well for 6th place. It is going to be a 4-car battle very, very shortly for 4th place as well.
And that gap between Jack and ARL has actually opened up a little bit by 0.3 of a second. So just keep an eye on it for the end of the race. But JP may be looking at 6th place here as Volcano's soft tyres wear and become not so nice. I think Ginger Tigers may have already hit the cliff because he's not making any inroads into Louis at the moment. But with the fight at the front, Merck 0.3, closing. He'll choose a side. That side is the inside, it's like deja vu all over again. Absolute repeat, and Merck back into the lead of this race.
Yeah, Brando just dropping off, not really dropping off the back, he's still within half a second, but maybe not as close as he was on the last lap. Absolutely monsters a curve there on the exit of the chicane. And yeah, Volcano has been overtaken now by JP for 6th place, so that's a move done by the second Mercedes car.
So JP, and he's only 1.1 behind IRL as we go back to the front because MDJ to the lead, and here comes Brando down the inside of Merck. He's looking to take this 2nd place, disrupt this flow of constant replay overtakes we've got. And Brando into 2nd. But he is the only one out of the 3 that has a flashing ERS light. Merck looks to go to the outside. He's going to keep it there for 2, side by side. This is dangerous between the pair, but they're keeping it nice and clean. Through 3, down towards 4. They're still side by side. Will Merck back out? Yes, he will. I think Merck knows if he goes for that move, they're outside of DRS, and they're going to be perilously close to it as well. 0.9 of a second. The detection point just out of 8. And I think they've not got it. Oh, I think Brandon may have just about clipped inside on the exit there. But, yeah.
He has DRS, yeah.
But Merck already through because he's got more ERS to play with. Merck now is going to have to waste a bit of ERS here to get onto the back of MDJ so he can stick within that DRS. That one little battle, as he said before, in this tier, one little battle, and you're outside that DRS and you're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, definitely. I think that battle would have been better reserved for the last lap, possibly. But yeah, here we are. I mean, Merck, has he managed to get inside the 1 second?
I believe he has. I believe he was at 0.9. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Detection
Brando. Yeah, Brando has it as well, but he is very close to that 1 second now. In fact, he's over the 1 second. This could be the end of Brando's challenge for the race win.
He's going to be out of it for this detection point because detection point for the back straight is just out of the 90 left after the chicane. Detection point for the main straight just after turn 17. So, but the question is, we know Merck is very good at keeping ERS. I think this may have just leveled the playing field on that perspective because there's no doubt about it. Merck has just had to waste a fair chunk of his ERS to ensure that he can still challenge for the win here.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's probably a high chance of that. Just looking back as well, we got the chance with a lap and a half to go. Pretty sure Merck's going to probably get a move done on MDJ here anyway. But yeah, JP now right on the back of ARL as well, so looking to try and get 5th place off of the Alfa Romeo.
Speaking of Merckx, he is not close enough into turn 11 on this occasion, but he is now right on the back of that Williams. Meanwhile, it is JP911 to go into the top 5. I think that's pretty much where he's going to stay. I think it'd be a bit of a tough ask to get onto the back of Jack, I think, and past, although you never know what might happen. Meanwhile, Merckx opens his DRS. We're heading up towards turn 17 for the penultimate time. Moves to the inside, hits the brakes.
I'm a little bit surprised. I had a feeling he might just try and stay behind MDJ for the entirety of the end of this lap and the majority of the next one to just get the run down into the final corner. But he's gone for the move, and MDJ fighting back straight away. And we're going to go side by side.
I think
MDJ
this could be a very smart play here from Merckx. It depends what MDJ decides to do here. Brando getting nearly back within DRS. But I think Merckx is working on the basis of if he's in front coming into the second DRS zone, MDJ may overtake him, and Merckx will be in prime position for the last DRS zone. But it looks like MDJ's maybe taking that sector a little bit slowly.
Potentially, but Brando is back in the game as well now. He's within a second, and he's going to be catching these two in front into that last sector, although... Yep, they're battling, and this is exactly what Brando wants to see. It's what Brando needs. Can MDJ stick it around the outside? I don't think that's going to happen. This is back to a 3-horse race.
I think that was the best thing for MDJ, though. If he's got the ERS available to him, this is the best thing as we head on to the back straight for the final time. Who's going to be the winner of the Miami Grand Prix? It looks like MDJ's in prime position right now. DRS open. He goes to the outside. They'll both be burning the ERS. MDJ through for now. Into the corner. MDJ obviously on that tight line. Merckx might get a run on him. It's going to be tight. Side by side through 19. I think it's going to be MDJ. MDJ wins the Miami Grand Prix from Merckx. Brando in third. That's a fantastic finish between the Williams and the Merckx, fighting all the way to the line. And it looks like JP and ARL are going to be doing the same as Jack finishes in fourth. ARL is just about going to re-overtake JP for fifth. And the Mercedes has to settle for sixth in the end. Volcano seventh. Louis will finish in eighth. And I think Ginger Tiger might get past him. Yes, he will. For eighth, courtesy of that 6 seconds worth of penalties, one of which may come off. So Louis in ninth. Maggot will finish in 10th. And Destiny, he's had a torrid race. This chicane that he's coming up to has been his nemesis all day, but he's going to finish and he's going to take home a couple of points for his championship. And there's another 3-second penalty just to add to his collection.
Just making sure we're aware it's that one he's not happy with today. But yeah, fair play to Destiny, sticking it out, getting the 2 championship points as you say, and that's what it's all about. Sometimes you just got to keep going and. It's just more time behind the wheel, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, more time behind the wheel, and as we know, every point counts in a championship. You might not be fighting for the championship, but your finish position is always nice to be as high as you can possibly be, and taking points out of people when they're not racing, always a good thing for your title, for your championship position chances. MDJ, I'm not surprised, is the driver of the day there.
Yeah, fantastic drive from MDJ. An incredible start as well from the Williams driver there. Can't argue with it really, to be honest, that one, I think.
And there's your podium. It's nice to see MDJ back on the top step. Last season, it was always the likes of MDJ trying to chase down Merckx. 9 times out of 10 coming second best, but tonight it was his night. He got it right, and I think the fact that he didn't overtake Merckx on that second DRS zone was quite a crucial factor in the fact that he got the DRS for that last one, and that's what made the move. But Bruce, would you just take us through the provisional race results for the Miami Grand Prix?
Absolutely, yeah. So, fantastic race there from MDJ, up from 9th on the grid to take the win from Merckx in second. Brando Cambalango, a great race from him for third, with Jack also fourth, good race for him. ARL up 6 places from 11th to 5th, with JP in 6th, Volcano 7th, Ginger Tiger 8th, Louis 9th, Maggot 10th, Destiny sticking it out in 11th and the fastest lap as well, so extra points for him. And Bashi, unfortunately, the only DNF of the race after a crash early on.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Bruce. Just looking at a few comments. AR saying that was good. It was a good drive from ARL. 11th to 5th for him. Eli, more welcome with the commentary. It was a fantastic race to commentate on, especially all the way at the end. ARL wondering what he'd done since the disconnect, but it worked for him with some good racing battles, which is fantastic to see all the way through the field. I do know we have MDJ in at the moment. We will come to him shortly. We'll just see if we can get Mercked in as well. And we'll see if we can get a bit of a comment from Brando. But, I mean, Bruce, what's your sort of moment of that race? Because there was quite a lot of action going on there.
Yeah, hard to pick really a moment of the race. It was great racing throughout the entirety of it, even with the smaller field. It didn't really seem to make a difference really at the front end, especially we still had the close battling. It was looking like a grandstand finish, wasn't it, between the three drivers of Brando, MDJ, and Merckx. But unfortunately, Brando just sort of fell off the back of it towards the end of that race. I think just that whole battle really with the three of them, it was super clean. There was no real major contact, a couple of little nudges here and there, but nothing serious. So it was really good to see, three guys fighting it out, without any real issues running alongside each other.
And Merck will be joining us in a second, but we'll kickstart things with MDJ. MDJ, congratulations on the victory. It's a fantastically strategic race by yourself, and it's good to see you back on the top step once again. It was one hell of a race from yourself and obviously Merckx and Brando that you were fighting with.
Yeah, I knew there was going to be some safety car which was going to me to the front, so I chose for a lower downforce setup, knowing that I will not have the pace, but I can stay ahead of people or stay with them and overtake them on the straights. So yeah, I used my advantage doing that, and by the end I was just waiting. I was actually before the corners in sector 3. I was waiting for Merckx to pass me. I was hesitant, and then I was gonna go for a move on the last straight to the last corner. Made a bit of a mistake, but didn't matter. I had a better exit anyway than Merckx, so I still got a win.
I see. We did notice that in comparison to obviously when Merckx came into the pits for his only pit stop of the race, obviously Brando came in the lap after. You decided to go an extra lap. I mean, you did lose a little bit of time, obviously due to the undercut from Merckx there. Did you think that potentially you'd gone a lap too long when you came out of the pits? Because obviously we all know what the DRS is like around the circuit. It's quite an important thing to have to stay within battles.
Well, I was considering staying out till the end, but seeing how fast Merckx was closing in per lap, I had a quick calculation, and he would have passed me like 5 laps before the end. So, it was the best for me to pit, and yeah, it kind of just unfolded like that. And with the two of them, with Brando and Merckx fighting, I got close again, and that kind of helped me. So yeah.
Yeah, Bruce, do you have any questions for MDJ?
Yeah, well done on the victory, mate. Well done. That's really good stuff. On the subject of that pit stop, when you came in, I was thinking you'd maybe switch to the softs and try and take them to the end. Did you consider using that compound, or were you just worried they'd just sort of fall off a cliff towards the end of the
Um,
race?
well, I tried to stay away from the softs in the entire game, especially with these kind of distances with my low wings. The tire wear is pretty high, so the mediums were the way to go. If I was going for the softs, then they would have probably died 5 laps or 7 laps before the end.
And one more question for myself. That last lap, you went for a move into turn 11 on that second DRS straight. I mean,
Yes.
are you kind of semi-happy that didn't actually pay off in the end? Because obviously, had that paid off, obviously Merck would have then had the DRS on you going up to the last corner. I mean, was the intention to go past, or just to disrupt Merck a little bit to make sure you were still on him for that last straight?
Well, I was well. First, the intention was to slow him down just a bit so he doesn't drive away in the corners as he has higher wings. But when I was side by side with him, I was thinking about going ahead, but I backed off and let him go past again, and that kind of helped me. If he backed off, then he would have got me, as I didn't have a lot of ERS to play with.
Absolutely. Well, MDJ, congratulations back on the top step. It's fantastic to see you back and back on just on the podium and especially on the top step. Fantastic stuff to see. So congratulations. We'll go to Merckx, and I remember last time I think Merckx we had a few issues with your audio, so hopefully you've managed to find the settings to fix that. We'll go for a quick tester on that and just get someone to confirm they can hear you a minute. So, but congratulations on second place. It was a very, very good race by yourself.
Yeah, it was a good race, good battles. Yeah, I think MDJ with his low wings I don't think there was much I could have done, to be honest. He was just able to save a lot more ERS and able to use it a lot better than I was able to gain on the corners. So yeah, frustrating, but yeah, well deserved from MDJ.
What was your thinking behind not pitting under that safety car? Because obviously we've seen in previous races this week that the mediums, obviously you start on the hards, the mediums do go quite a long distance in this race. What was the thing behind staying on those hard tyres? Was it just a case of you didn't fancy taking them an extra for a long time, or you didn't really want to do a second stop just on the off chance? What was the thinking behind that?
To be honest, I probably should have pit. I was kind of hoping that more people behind me didn't pit, but that didn't happen. And then, I wasn't able to keep pace with them. If I could have kept in the DRS, I probably would have been able to make it work a bit better. But I probably should have pit really. But yeah, you don't always get it right.
Bruce, do you have any questions for Merck?
Yeah, congrats on another podium tonight. I'm actually just looking at the championship points. I believe tonight's result provisionally puts MDJ up to 80 points, and your second place puts you on to 134, giving you the 54-point lead. And I think there's only 54 points available now for winning on the fastest lap for the rest of the season. So all season you've sort of been not chatting too much about the championship, sort of saying still a long way to go. But yeah, you must be pretty relieved to all by the shout and have the championship sewn up now.
Yeah, I think obviously, it's always been there on your mind. But yeah, as I say, I take it race by race, and my focus has just been doing the best I can each race and not on the championship. It kind of just comes along as a bonus. But yeah, shame that a few people obviously missed a few races, and I think that caused kind of a bit of a sway in my favour. But you got to attend the races and get the results to be up there. So.
And final question, obviously, in your battle near the end of the race, obviously, you had that little battle with Brando. which just allowed MDJ to get a little bit further up the road. I mean, that had to be a little bit frustrating from your side because obviously we know how good you are at saving your ERS during races, but obviously because of that battle you'd have had to you burnt probably a lot more than you were kind of willing to do to get back into MDJ's slipstream and DRS gap. So what are your kind of thoughts on that little battle, because that almost cost you like even having a go at the end for the win?
Yeah, I think that was probably a mistake on my part. I knew that he was kind of looking to go for a move for a good few laps, and yeah, that was a good opportunity for him to do so, and I didn't cover myself off probably as best as I should have. So yeah, my own fault and mistake on my part, and yeah, hopefully, yeah, I won't do that again, but you never know.
Well, congratulations, Max, on your second place. We'll also congratulate, obviously, Brando. Unfortunately, I'll just double check, but I don't think we've got anything for him. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, unfortunately, we don't have anything from Brando, but congratulations to him on his third place. It was a fantastic battle, and I think, quite possibly, Bruce, one of my favourite races of this year for this season of season 18.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? There's always that concern after the week before running Monza, which is obviously pretty chaotic at the best of times with the close racing. That you go to a track like Miami and it can be a bit spread out, but no, it was absolutely brilliant. The top three did a fantastic job of keeping it entertaining there towards the end, and yeah, there were some really really good drives throughout the field, to be honest.
Yeah, it's always good to see the pockets of battles around a difficult circuit, and the fact of how clean it was. I mean, obviously we had Ginger had that moment through turn one on lap one, which you kind of expect that something to happen at lap one, turn one, but really the only incident we saw really was obviously Bashford and JP getting it wrong by himself at a chicane. It's a really nice clean race from everyone, which is fantastic to see. And as we know, clean races they breed fantastic battles for the whole race.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the disruption of the safety car was unfortunate, and obviously massively unfortunate for Bashi. But yeah, I was chatting at the time, was concerned about it spreading out, but yeah, luckily that was pretty unfounded, and yeah, it was great stuff. It was thoroughly enjoyable, and yeah, obviously a shame that there wasn't a few more in tonight, but I think we were treated well by the guys that were there.
So you'll see next week is Hungary. Fantastic. I believe it is Hungary anyway. I'll just double check it. Bruce might know already,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it is. Yes, yeah.
yeah. So Hungary next week, which is once again another completely different circuit from the last two we've had. So that's going to be fantastic. It always produces some really close racing. It's an interesting circuit to try and overtake on, but it always seems to create good races on F1 games, which is fantastic to see. But the racing is not over this week. We do have RP coming tomorrow from 8 o'clock, again from Miami for their 9th round of the championship. And everyone will be returning next week for round number 10 as we come through to the run-in for the end of this season. Just 12 rounds for the season, and we're going to be round 10 next week. From Hungary, it'll be Tier 3 on Monday with Joe and JP 911. Tier 2 will be on Tuesday, brought to you by Jack and Xerox. And we'll be back next Wednesday for Tier 1 as we look to mathematically crown, potentially, the champion of Tier 1 in Merckx. But for myself and Bruce, you've been watching the Invictus Racing League in partnership with Venturi Studios. This has been Tier 1. We hope you join us next week for more Tier 1 action, and you do join us on more streams as we continue towards the end of Season 18. But from all of us here, thank you all for watching. Good night.